Hi, this is Camille Cassal and
Jessica Coldwell with the Angstadt Real Estate Group.
And we have a special guest.
Morning, everyone.
Hi, Cory.
Hi. Nice to see you guys.
Cory
Thanks for having me back
Nicastro.
with Atkinson Insurance, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How are you guys today?
We're good.
Good.
We're in, it's Monday and it's pre-holiday and we're running like crazy, but we're good.
No, busy time, busy time.
Yeah, I feel crazy right now.
So we're coming to you with a question that we've been hearing, and we wanted to bring Cory in as our special guest to help us address the issue. So when we have clients that are looking for their credit scores, they are very concerned about how insurance will impact their credit scores. So Cory's going to explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so a lot of the things that I'm kind of hearing when I reach out to clients to get their quotes for their new home purchase is that they're very concerned about whether there's going to be a hard credit pull. And when you get an insurance quote, there's never a hard credit pull. It's always a soft pull. Now, what helps to kind of, for the client to be a little bit more comfortable is to know that and to understand that, depending on what your credit score is, does also impact the insurance rate a little bit. Okay, but that's not a credit score. It actually is an insurance score. So a credit score is kind of what you're looking at as far as like when you're going to purchase the home or you're going to get a loan. An insurance score is what's going to come up on my end to kind of give me an idea of where they're going to fall in the realm of a rate.
Okay, so we're going to just kind of go over what an insurance score is because a lot of us have never even heard of that.
Well, and explain soft and hard pull for people who, don't speak the lingo.
Well, I would just a soft pull, I'm going to say, it may not show up on your credit actual report. It won't show that there was an inquiry made. It's not going to ding your credit, your history, your credit score. A hard pull, I think, is something, if you're going to buy a car, you're going to buy a house, maybe if you're applying for a loan, I'm assuming all these things are, quote unquote, hard pulls where, they could, maybe the first one won't necessarily impact your credit or your credit score, but if you were to continually hit it, your
shows
credit
up as an inquiry.
Yeah, it'll show up as an inquiry, and from my understanding, it'll go down. I don't know at what rate, but it could negatively impact your credit score.
Okay,
So I have a few things. I'm going to read off a list, of what makes up a home insurance score. Okay, so one is the age of your oldest account. So like a loan you may have, or that you're still paying on, like how old that account is, how long it's been running for, how often you use your credit cards. Are they getting paid off at the end of the month? Are you just accruing a bunch of debt? That's definitely something.
So can I interrupt you there
Sure.
with a question? So speaking of age, and so somebody who is younger, like Jessica, and millennial, and may not have the credit, start out.
Oh, but I do.
She does.
And I love millennials, by the way.
She does. But my son, he's getting a credit card and it's very limited. And so how does that affect, this factor here?
Well, I think it's just going to be more beneficial for them to start some sort of credit early. And I'm not a credit,
but
professional.
In terms of the credit card utilization, if you see, okay, this person hasn't.
Right, if they say they don't have a card, they might say, okay, well that looks like a risk. They don't have it possibly.
Right.
But if they see that there's some positive action, maybe it's getting paid off at every month, it's a little balance. From my understanding, if you have a credit card, and a lot of people are kind of encouraged to pay it off every month if you can, that's going to keep you showing that you're using the card, you have credit, and you're paying it off. So in your case for your son, maybe he gets a low balance credit card to start things off and shows him the responsibility of paying it off.
And that looks good for the insurance score.
Yep.
Okay.
So another one is hard inquiries. So the home insurance score is going to kind of take a look, how many times was the credit hit? What are they looking for? What are they trying to buy? Like, why is it getting hit so many times? And there's just so many factors, how many times they had an account that was past due or they were late on a payment. Your credit card limits. Do you have high limits? Do you have low limits? And also your home and your neighborhood. So it's a little bit more involved, the home insurance score, and it is a piece of an insurance rate. Okay, so they look at the insurance score and to get a baseline, and then from there we're adding endorsements and coverages, and then their driving record comes up or how many claims they have. So there's more things that are actually going to impact it. But as far as your insurance score,
so that's surprising that you look at so much credit history with an insurance score. I never would have
thought that. No.
And
Not at all.
And this isn't something that I personally have access to. I have access to when the score, like each carrier does their scores differently, so they'll put them in different tiers, right? So you'll have an idea of like, maybe they had a bankruptcy and that could really highly impact their chance of getting home insurance.
Wow.
Now we luckily, since we have like 20 carriers, we don't have that problem because we have a carrier that'll be able to help in that situation.
So explain that for somebody who hasn't seen a prior video. How is it you have 20 carriers?
So we're a
Do you
broker.
do?
We're a broker. I'm an independent insurance agent, which means I work for the client. So we shop the policy. We don't work for the actual insurance companies.
Yeah.
So it's our,
Which is better for us.
yeah.
Much better.
Yeah, so it's my, priority is to make sure that I'm working and taking care of the client, making sure they're getting the best rates, making sure they can get a hold of me if they have a question about a claim or billing. We want to be able to be the middleman to get them,
So you're
the
an
service.
advocate for the
Absolutely,
client.
absolutely. Which is different than a captive agency, which would be your bigger companies that can only sell their own product and that are kind of want to make sure that you're kind of staying with them to keep
You're
them
tied
getting
down to
paid.
them.
And, yeah, they want you to kind of be tied to them, and
So.
so I'm not going to knock any carriers, but they're all different. So
just to answer another question I had, we know car insurance is affected by age. Younger people pay a little bit more. How does that impact? Jessica owns a home and is younger, and so how does that impact me, who also I own a home, and I'm not going to say how old I am, but I'm older. Is
I'm
there
like
an
right in the
impact?
middle.
That's why we have you
I
in the
see it.
middle.
All right.
I'm not going to age myself, but so is there a difference in insurance for home insurance for?
I
age?
don't see it as much in home insurance, but overall insurance is going to be impacted a little bit by age because they're looking at people of younger age as more of a liability because they're
For
less,
like car insurance and things like that, yeah.
they're less experienced. Okay, they don't have the track record to show like, hey, I've been driving for 10 years and I have had no accidents, or I've owned a home for this long, I've had no claims. So
Right.
the general standard is, as you get older, those rates should be a little bit better. And they're even talking a lot about now when somebody's in their elder years that those rates should be higher, but they're still low because they're a little bit more of at a risk, but they're actually less likely to get in an accident than new and younger drivers.
Yeah.
So really, for home ownership, it's not so much about how old you are; it's whether you've owned a home and have a history. That is going to impact the rate.
Yeah, that's going to impact the rate and whether you've had claims and stuff like that. So, and then you want to talk about home insurance rates, which we've talked about in a previous episode. There's just a lot of factors that really come into play of that homeowner's insurance rate.
And go back and watch that video on our real estate page.
Yes, on
We will
Angstadt
tag
Real
that.
Estate group and our Facebook page. It's on there. So, well, I think we've answered enough questions. Do you have any others?
No, except for the fact that Christmas is next week. So we're all here and wanted to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and
Merry
be safe
Christmas.
again if you're traveling.
Yes,
So-
and we're going to get back to it so we can get our
Yeah.
work done and get Christmas shopping.
There's a lot to get done this week.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
appreciate you all having me again. It's always a pleasure to be able to come
Yeah.
down and kind of share some information. I learn a lot from you all. We're all learning from each other in our different businesses. So I appreciate it and always look forward to working with you guys.
And
Yeah.
Cory brought us cookies, so we're going to go.
Thank you,
Get some
Casey.
cookies. And thank you to Casey who made the cookies.
Yeah, thanks, Casey.
Wishing you all a safe and happy Christmas and join us again soon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.